I'm David Levin, and welcome to Pop Goes the Culture, the untold TV stories you wouldn't have known from the stars who were there. Today, part 4 of my interview with Tony Danza, who is not quite finished with the Andy Kaufman Tony Clifton story, as he relates what happened when Andy Kaufman returned to Taxi the week after Tony Clifton's Rampage. Tony also talks about how the cast of Taxi remained close after the show was canceled, and how he brought Marilu Henner on as a guest star on his later sitcom, Who's the Boss?
Now, remember, we were sworn that we all had to pretend he was Tony. We didn't say Andy. So the next week we had a hiatus. We were off, a hiatus. I love using that term. Everybody goes, oh yes, I know what that is. But we were off that next week, and then we were back. And Andy was back as Andy that following week. And I got the film developed. I set up a little projector, and we had these little cubicle dressing rooms upstairs on stage 20, I think it was 23 or 25, one or the other. And it was just a bunch of cubicles down a hallway, and I had everybody. It was Tuesday, and Tuesday was the day that Andy came back to work, because he didn't work on Monday. He worked Tuesday and Friday. But anyway, we were all in there. I got everybody. There's like 50 people in this cubicle that's no bigger than where we are right here, just like in here. And I'm showing it up on the wall, on the white wall, and I'm showing this thing, and we are hysterical. And it is really funny. You got to see Judd and him rolling around, and Ed gets sucked in, and it just was crazy. It was just so... It was like crazy. It was surreal. All right. But I forgot to lock the door. And all of a sudden, the door swings open, and in walks Andy Kaufman. And we're all... It's like we don't know what to say. You know, because up on the screen is this thing going on. And he stands there and watches this. And we're all standing there watching like this. And it finishes. Okay, and we're all, what's he going to say? What's he going to say? And he goes, ugh, a-hole. And he walks out. He's talking about Clifton. And we were all like, what? You know, and he never, you know, that's one thing about Andy. He never, you know, I mean, there's a lot of people who think he still may come back, you know.
Was it fun doing the movie?
I didn't do it. I'm the only one not in it. I was on Broadway doing A View from the Bridge. And I was lucky to get away with that one, because I really didn't want to play myself, you know, whatever, 20 years later in a movie and try to look like, you know, that wasn't something I wanted to do. But I did miss out on all of us being together. They recreated the garage, and everybody called me. They called me here. I was at the Neil Simon here on Broadway, and they all called me together. They were all together, and it was great. I mean, that is a family. We still get together. We still see each other. We just celebrated the 25th, last July, was the 25th anniversary of everybody laying eyes on each other for the first time. And so we've remained close. And we really have no choice, because Marilu will, you know, make sure that we get together all the time.
You had her on Who's the Boss?
Had her on Who's the Boss. She played Mrs. Wilmington.
And I don't mean had her.
Well, yes. Well... Did I have? No, I didn't have her then. No, no. She did play a part on the show. She replaced Delta Burke, actually, because Delta and I didn't get along, which probably shouldn't be an anecdote I should talk about. You know, not the smartest move of my life.
You and Marilu got.
Marilu is the greatest. She's just you know, there was a great line in that show that also I like to do a lot, is that. She played Mrs. Wilmington, who was after Tony, the maid. And she was always after, and we were always hiding from her. And so she'd come to the back door, we'd go to the front. She'd come to the front door, we'd run back to the kitchen. And then she'd cross us up and catch us, and then she'd come in. And this one time she comes in, she's just crying incessantly. She's sobbing. And we find out after a long crying session that her husband, Mrs. Wilmington's husband, has run off with their maid. And she cries some more, and then she tells us what she really wants. She asks Angela, Judith Light's character, if she can stay with us at our house. And, you know, Angela says, well, wait a minute, if your husband has run off with your maid, your house is probably empty. Why don't you stay there? And Mrs. Wilmington says, oh, God, no. She says, no, I can't go back there. She says, they were all over my house. They made love in my bed. They took showers in my shower. And Mona, Catherine Hellman, said, and I wouldn't want to set a sandwich on that kitchen table.
That's it for part 4 of my Tony Danza conversation. Tomorrow, Tony moves on and talks about Who's the Boss. His co-stars, Katherine Hellman, Judith Light, Alyssa Milano, Danny Pantoro. And Tony brings the show full circle as he talks about the final episode. Till then, let me know what was your favorite episode of Who's the Boss and why. And please subscribe and ring that bell. I'm David Levin. See you next time. Hey, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Facebook and hit the subscribe button.